Hello everyone. Today we will be seeing the remaining portion of the carbon compounds. In the last session we studied about the covalent bond, isn't it? So how a molecule is formed by sharing electrons, and we have studied a simple cases like hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, etc. Isn't it? And there was a homework, I think. Hope you have done that. Now just we will see how CH4 is formed by covalent bond. So the formation of a covalent bond by CH4, you know, carbon, only the valence electron has got this. You have to write the valence electron. That means 6, that is 2 and 4. So carbon has got how many valence electrons? 4 valence electrons. So you have to draw the carbon and its 4 valence electrons, so you have to draw like this. Now if you ask me, can you draw like this? I can draw like this. Okay, you can draw like that, but to have some beautification or to see the molecule as beautiful, we are drawing like this, that's all. Okay, so here then hydrogen is 1, isn't it? For hydrogen, 1 electron, only 1 electron. So how many hydrogens are there? 4 electrons. Now how sharing happens? That is, see, 4 hydrogen. So 1 hydrogen I will put here, second hydrogen here, third hydrogen here, and fourth hydrogen here. Okay. Now hydrogen, there is 1 electron. I can denote it as either a dot or simply 1 cross. Either way it is okay. Just to distinguish between the carbon and hydrogen, I am doing this. Now hydrogen is this, and hydrogen is this, and hydrogen is this. Now coming to the sharing of electrons, see, hydrogen needs only 2, duplet. Duplet is stable for hydrogen and helium. So hydrogen, it shares 1 electron from the carbon. Then here also like that. Here also 1 carbon and here also 1 carbon. So hydrogen is 2, 2, 2, 2. Now what carbon will do? Carbon has 1, 2, 3, 4, isn't it? Now it will share the 1 electron from each hydrogen atom. So how many in total? 2, 4, 6, 8. So it will be 8 electrons. So octet theory is valid for carbon and hydrogen duplet. So the compound is stable, isn't it? Hydrogen is for duplet and carbon is for octet. So this is how you draw the electron dot structure. What is it? Electron dot structure. Okay, electron dot structure of methane. What is this CH4? CH4 is methane. Hope you have drawn CCl4, isn't it? CCl4. So now we will see the definition. What is the definition of a covalent bond? Now what is the definition? You know, it is sharing. So you can say covalent bond occurs by the sharing of electrons. You know, ionic compound occurs by the transfer of electrons, whereas covalent bond occurs by the sharing of electrons. The value point you have to write is sharing of electrons. Okay, sharing of electrons. So the value point is covalent bond is formed by the sharing of electrons. Okay. Now as far as the properties are concerned, physical properties are concerned, ionic compounds, what we have said, it is the opposite to that. That means it will be a soft compounds. It is soluble in organic solvents. It is not a good conductor of heat and electricity, isn't it? So like that. So that is the properties of covalent compounds. Today, now we will see a topic related to carbon. If I say, they are called as allotropes. Allotropes. Now, what do you mean by allotropes? Allotropes means they are nothing but different forms of carbon. What is it? I can say different forms of carbon. Now what is mean by this different forms of carbon? See, not only carbon, so many elements have got allotropes. Okay, which means allotropes means carbon will have different forms. Different forms means, for example, you know diamond. You know diamond, isn't it? You all know diamond. Okay, you all know graphite, isn't it? You all know graphite. See, diamond is made up of carbon, isn't it? I can say diamond is made up of carbon and graphite is also made up of carbon. See, both this carbon, graphite and diamonds are made up of carbon. But you know, diamond is entirely different from graphite, isn't it? If you know the properties of diamond, it is the hardest substance known, isn't it? But graphite means what? Graphite is smooth and slippery. That is why it is used as what? Lubricants. You have studied in smaller classes. Graphite is used as lubricants, and diamond is one of the hardest substance, isn't it? This is used in jewelries and all. This is used in pencil heads and all. So according to this, they are different in nature, isn't it? So we can say, but still they are carbon. Okay. So we can say allotropes are different forms of carbon. Okay, different forms of carbon which are having same chemical property but different physical property. What is it? Same chemical property but different physical property. Now see, why I said same chemical property? Because both are made up of carbon. So it must be the chemical property of carbon, or it will show the chemical property of carbon, because diamond is carbon, graphite is also carbon. So it will show the same chemical property, but it will show different physical property. As you know, diamond is the hardest substance, isn't it? It is very, very shiny, whereas graphite is slippery. It is used in the pencil leads, isn't it? So it is a good conductor of electricity. You have studied in the exceptions, isn't it? So metals and non-metals. So physically they are, in properties, physically speaking, they are different. But chemically, on chemical reactions, they are same. Why? Because they are same, both are made up of same carbon atom. So that is the definition of an allotrope. So allotropes are different forms of carbon or different forms of substances which are same or having same chemical properties but different physical properties. That is a valid point. That is same chemical properties, isn't it? Same chemical properties but different physical properties. Sorry. Yeah, different physical properties. Okay, so that is called as allotrope. So now you know what is meant by allotrope and what are the different forms of carbon, or what are the different allotropes. Okay. Not only diamond and graphite, one more allotrope you can study in carbon, which is called as fullerenes. What is it? Fullerenes. Okay, so three types of allotropes, or three allotropes of carbon. That is fullerenes. I will tell more detail about fullerenes after diamond and graphite. So fullerenes, then diamond and graphite. Now, if you see the structure of diamond, you know carbon has got how many valencies? Always remember carbon. What is carbon? 6C12. Okay. Now 6C12 means electronic configuration if you write it as 2 and 4. So always remember carbon has got how many valencies? 4 valencies. So that is called as a tetravalency. So in order to have a stability for carbon, it should have 4 bonds or 4 covalent bonds. It will make 4 covalent bonds with either another carbon atom or any other atoms like oxygen or nitrogen or sulfur. We will study later. Okay. So then coming back, diamond means what? Diamond is having a structure like this. That means one carbon atom is tightly bonded to 4 other carbon atoms. See, this is the carbon atom. This carbon atom, all are carbon atoms in diamond. So in this carbon atom, see, this is attached to 4 other carbon atoms. That is why it has got a rigid structure. It is very hard, no? It is very, very hard. So that is the reason. Why? Because why it is very, very hard and rigid. Each carbon atom, for example, if you say this carbon atom, again this carbon atom is bounded to 4 other carbon atoms. 4 carbon atoms. This also 4 carbon atoms. So that is the structure of carbon atom. Okay, that means if you will study later in higher classes, it has got a tetrahedrally bonded. That means 4. Okay, tetrahedrally bonded. That means each carbon atom is having 4 other linked with 4 other carbon atoms. That is why it is rigid. Whereas in the case of graphite, in the case of graphite, each carbon atom is linked to only 3 other carbon atoms. See? In the case of diamond, each carbon atom is bonded to 4 other carbon atoms, whereas in the case of graphite, each carbon atom is bonded to 3 other carbon atoms, giving a planar structure. What do you mean by planar structure? Planar means we can draw it in an XY plane. We can draw it in an XY plane as in the shape of a graphite. We can draw it as a planar, isn't it? But tetrahedral means what? It is a 3-dimensional structure, isn't it? You cannot draw it in a XY plane. You cannot draw it in a board, because one bond will be like this. If I can see, if I can make you understand, see, this is the structure of what? This is structure of a diamond. I mean, diamond means the carbon atoms. One carbon atom, the 3 will be in one plane and the 4th one will be out of the plane. So that is tetrahedral structure. So you can't draw it in an XY plane. Whereas in the case of a planar, you can draw it in an XY plane. So this is what? Graphite structure. Now you know that there are 4 valences of carbon. Now if you only have 3 bonds, covalently bonded carbon atom, where is the 4th bond? So there is a 4th bond. That is why this graphite has got one electron. One electron in this carbon atom. And due to this electron, it is a good conductor of electricity. We have already studied graphite is a good conductor of electricity. Now why it is a good conductor of electricity? Because for conduction of electricity you need electrons, isn't it? Now in the case of graphite, there is one mobile electron in each carbon planar bonded carbon atom. So this mobile electron, this movable electron is responsible for the conduction. So that is also a board exam question. How or why you can say graphite is a good conductor of electricity? And we can say in the graphite there contains 1 free electrons, isn't it? 1 free electron, and thereby it is used in the conduction. So that is why. Okay. So this is what this graphite is having a hexagonal layer planar structure. That is, just refer to your textbook. It is given in that. The diagram you have given in that. Hexagonal layers are there. Since it is layers, it can be slippery. So that is why it is act as a lubricant. So layer structure is there. So just go through the textbook. You can have that layer structure. Okay. So this it is planar structure. This is tetrahedral structure. This is very rigid. This is a soft. This is good conductor. This is not a good conductor. So these are the physically different properties of diamond and graphite, which are allotropes of carbon. So you got it? What are allotropes? Allotropes are having same chemical property but different physical property. But which means diamond, graphite and fullerenes are made up of what? Carbon. Now you can also synthesize this diamond. Actually you will get that natural diamond, isn't it? Then you have to purify it and all. Extraction can be done and you will get the pure diamond. But you can synthetically prepare man-made diamond. You can synthetically prepare diamond. How? Diamond is carbon. Now when this pure carbon is subjected to very high temperature and pressure. See, when pure carbon is subjected to high temperature and also high pressure, you can synthesize diamond. Okay, so you will get synthetic diamond. See, now the synthetic diamonds are very small. Okay, but it will look same as the natural diamonds. So this is how you can synthetically prepare diamond. By pure carbon, when applied with high temperature and pressure, you can have synthetic diamond. Okay. So this is about diamond and graphite. Now we will see the third one, which is called as fullerenes. What is it? Fullerenes. Fullerenes are also an allotrope in which there are 60 or or more carbon atoms are there. See, there are 60 or more than 60 carbon atoms linked together in the form of a football. See, the 60 carbon atoms or more than 60 carbon atoms are linked, or it is through the covalently bonded, it is just the shape of a football. And the name it got is by the architect called as Buckminster Fuller. It is called as Buckminster Fuller. Okay. From the Buckminster Fuller. So he designed a dome which is having this shape of that football. Okay. So in that dome, you know, right? Dome. Okay. So that dome has got a same shape as that of a football. So then this C60, more than C60 or 60 carbon atoms joined together in the shape of a football. It is same as like what this Buckminster Fuller has designed a dome. So that is why it is called as a given name as Fuller. So that is why it is called as Fullerenes. Okay, so that is the third allotrope of carbon, which can be 60 carbon atoms or more than 60 carbon atoms designed in the shape of a football. It is called as Fullerenes. Okay, it is also has got what same chemical property, but we are having a different physical property. So you need not go into details of Fullerenes, just to know that it is the carbon allotrope is also Fullerene. Okay, so there are three allotropes. One is diamond, second is graphite, and third is Fullerene. Hope you have understood. Now we will move on to the next important thing, that is the versatile nature of carbon. In the first class itself we have discussed, being a very small element, okay, having an atomic number 6 and mass number 12, the carbon can form millions of compounds, isn't it? The carbon can form millions and trillions of compounds. That is why it is called as an organic chemistry. It is named under organic chemistry, carbon compounds itself. So it has the capability of forming so many compounds. Now why or from where this capability arises in carbon? That is why we talk about the versatility of carbon or versatile nature of carbon. Versatile nature of carbon. Okay, why this carbon is said to be versatile, or how the versatility happens in carbon. Okay, now when we talk about carbon, the first class itself we have said that whatever we see, even in the book or in this plastic, isn't it? Plastic means it is a PVC or it is a polymer, isn't it? Plastic is a polymer of carbon related compounds. So whatever you see in wood, isn't it, in paints or in our dresses, isn't it, nylon, everything there is carbon, isn't it? So that is why it can make so many compounds related to carbon. Now we will see the versatility or how this carbon becomes so much versatile in nature. Okay, how this carbon becomes so much versatile in nature. There are 3 points to remember. Okay, about the versatility. First I will tell the 3 points, then I will elaborate on that. First is catenation. Carbon has a tendency, unique ability. Unique means only carbon. Of course there are a little bit more elements, but not much that of carbon. So catenation, unique ability like catenation. Second is the tetravalency. Tetravalency means 4 valency. Okay, and third is small size. So these are the 3 criteria which makes the versatile nature of carbon or carbon being versatile. Okay. Now first is catenation, second is the tetravalency of carbon, and third is the small size of the carbon. And these 3 put together makes the carbon its versatile nature or its versatility. Now we will see one by one. What is catenation? Now second, tetravalency, and third is the small size. And the important is catenation. Now what is catenation? Catenation is nothing but, in one word I can say, it is called as self-linkage. What do you mean by self-linkage? Self means carbon, 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 carbon. That is called self-linkage. So carbon has got an ability to form self-linkage, or it will form bond with other carbon atoms. More than 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 carbon atoms to form a large molecule. So that unique ability of carbon to form carbon-carbon bonds to form a large molecule is called as catenation. That is, see, like this, carbon, 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 like that. It goes on like that. So this ability, the unique ability of carbon to form carbon-carbon bonds to form a large molecule is called as catenation. Okay. So this is a peculiar ability of carbon, or unique. If you ask me only carbon, no. See, carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and lead are the fourth group. Now silicon also will have this catenation property, but it can only go up to 7, maximum 7 or 8 silicon. For example, see, Si 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or maximum 7. After that, no bonding will happen. But in carbon, it is not like that. You can have what? You can have so many 26, 28, 30, 50 carbon atoms together. You can have that. That type of bonding you can have. That is why it is the unique ability of this carbon. That is, in one word I can say self-linkage of carbon. What is catenation? Self-linkage, which means the unique ability. You have to write that. Unique ability of carbon to form carbon-carbon bonds to form a large molecule is called as catenation. Now you got it, how the carbon is forming the bond and what is the valency of carbon. Always remember, the valency of carbon is 4. We have to satisfy the 4 bonds in carbon. Okay. So this is catenation or self-linkage. Even silicon can have catenation, Si, but the greater extent is only up to 7 or 8 silicon. Other than that, it cannot have a more catenation for silicon. That is why carbon having so many compounds for carbon. Okay. A very small element having a huge number of compounds. See, that is versatile, right? That's right. So now the second property is tetravalency. See, even though carbon is very, very small, the second point is tetravalency. The carbon can form directly 4 bonds with it, isn't it? We have seen the formation of CH4, that is 4 bonds of carbon, see, CH, CH, CH. So, tetravalency means the carbon has got 4 valence, or the carbon can make 4 covalent bonds either with carbon atoms. See, if I say either with carbon atoms, that is, this carbon atom, one bond is CC, again a carbon atom, again a carbon atom, again a carbon atom. Or it can have other atoms like what? Hydrogen, isn't it? Other atoms like hydrogen it can have. Or it can have what? It can have other atoms like nitrogen. Or it can have atoms like oxygen. So, the carbon has got an ability to form tetravalent bond. 4 valencies, so 4 bonds it can have at a time. Okay. Now either it can have with same carbon atom, carbon itself, okay, carbon itself, or it can have what? It can have bond with hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, etc. So these are called as heteroatoms. Okay. That is, homo means same carbon atom. This is means different atom. So it is called as heteroatom. So carbon can have the ability to form 4 bonds at a time with either carbon atom or with other atoms like hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, even sulfur, but for that matter. See the versatility for, so almost all it can make bond. Okay. So that is why it is called as a tetravalency. So the first was catenation and the second was tetravalency. Now the third is small size. What is it? Small size. You know, carbon has got a very, very small size. Okay, being the first member in that group, you know, carbon is in the 14th group of periodic table. So, being the first member, it is very, 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 very small. So, what happens is, when this is very, very small, the carbon is very small, it can make a strong bond with the other atom, like nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, hydrogen. So, that is making strong bond. I can write just strong bond. Strong bond with what? Strong bond with other atoms due to the small size. So, that is the point behind the value point. That is, due to the small size, this carbon atom, in the carbon atom, how many protons and how many neutrons are there? 6 protons and 6 neutrons are there. Why? Because 6C12, isn't it? 6C12. So, 6 plus 6, 12. So, 6. And this small nucleus, this is positive charge, right? Nucleus. So, this positive charge can help this electrons from this atoms. Thereby, the bond becomes very, very strong. So, here strong covalent bond is formed due to the small size. That means the positive charge, the nucleus can attract this element very, very strongly. Okay. So, if it was a bigger one, the attraction will be lesser. If it is even bigger, lesser. So, the bond will become also weak. So, since due to the small size of the carbon atom, there will be a strong bond. That's the value point. Strong bond between the carbon, even carbon to carbon or carbon to oxygen, carbon to nitrogen, carbon to sulfur, carbon to hydrogen, etc. Whatever element it is getting the bond, for all that a strong bond will. Exceptions are there. Yes, definitely exceptions are there, but we are saying the normal procedures or general trends we are saying. That is, due to the small size, strong bond is there. So, the 3 points we got it. First is catenation, second is tetravalency, and third is small size of carbon atom. And these 3 points makes the versatile nature of carbon. So, is it clear? Now, one more point to discuss is, as we told that the carbon forms self-linkage, that is carbon, 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 isn't it? And which is called as catenation. Okay. Now, this is a straight chain compound, isn't it? This is a straight chain compound. Okay. Now, even carbon can form branched chain compounds, or if I say it as a straight chain compound, straight chain, because it is a straight chain. See, it's a chain, right? And it is straight. There is no branching there. So, this is called as a straight chain compound. Now, the carbon can also form branches or branches in carbon. See, this is again branch, 4 valency. See, so it can have branched compounds. You know what is branching? See, this is a straight chain, means only carbon in a straight chain. Okay, logic. Here it is branched, means branches are there. See, branches are there. In trees also, you know, there is only one thing will come up, and from that branches are there. Likewise, the main skeleton is here. The main thing is here. See, the main thing is here, and from that what happens? The branches will occur. And that type of compound is also possible in carbon. So that type is called as branched compound. So there can be straight chain compound. See the versatile nature. It can form straight chain compounds up to 50 or something. You know soap, right? So it is C17H35COONA. This is one soap, sodium stearate. How many carbon atoms? 17 carbon atoms at a stretch. Just an example. Okay. So, this is a straight chain compound, and if there is branching in it, you will study in detail more, okay, in higher classes. So, if there is a branch here, like here, this is called as a branched chain compound. Now, even carbon can form what? Closed chain or cyclic compound. What is it? Cyclic. That means closed compounds. Closed compound means what? For example, if I write C, this is closed chain. Isn't it? Carbon, 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 carbon. So, different forms of compounds can be formed by carbon. That means it can be a straight chain, it can be a branched chain, it can even be a cyclic or a closed chain. This is an open chain, isn't it? Straight chain means it is an open chain. There is no closed. There is no closed, you know, right? Closed circuits and all. So there is no closed, it's open. Branched is also open. But what is here? There is a closed one. So it is called as a cyclic. In organic chemistry, we tell it as cyclic compound. That means in a closed one. That is cyclic. So carbon can form how many types of compound? Straight chain, then branched chain or cyclic compounds. Okay. It is not ended. Again, it can form. Now, if the carbon atoms are linked together by a single bond, you know this is a single bond, isn't it? You have drawn in hydrogen molecule single bond. So that type of carbon-carbon single bond, whether it is in a branch or in a cyclic means if I write C, 4. Then it is all single bond, isn't it? These are all single bonds. That type of compounds are called as saturated compound. What is it? Saturated compound. Very important. Saturated compound. And now what are saturated compounds? Saturated compounds are compounds having carbon-carbon single bond. The value point is carbon-carbon single bond. Okay. So, carbon-carbon single bond, you call it as saturated compound. Okay, it can happen in open chain, open chain, then closed chain, etc. Just see whether it is linked by a single bond. And you know how a single bond happens? 2 electrons. You have drawn that, isn't it? So, this is called as saturated compound. And now, if the carbon bond is a double bond. See, double bond means 2 bond. Okay, 2 bond. If the carbon is double bond, then you call it as unsaturated compound. What is it? Unsaturated. So, carbon single bond, saturated. Carbon double bond, unsaturated. And one more, carbon triple bond. 3 bonds are there. 3 bonds. Between 2 carbon atoms, 3 bonds are there. So, that also you call it as unsaturated compound. See? So, you have studied carbon can form how many types of compounds? One is a straight chain compound, open chain. Branched chain compounds, that's also open. Then closed compounds or cyclic compounds, isn't it? Then again classification as saturated compound and unsaturated compound. Now what is saturated compound? Carbon single bond are called as saturated compound, and carbon double bond or triple bond. What is it? Unsaturated means carbon double bond or carbon triple bond. Okay. Carbon double bond or carbon triple bond are called as unsaturated compound. So these are the things in the versatile nature of carbon. See how many types of compounds can be formed. You will know the names or the classifications in higher classes. Okay. So these are the versatility of carbon. Now once again on a recap of versatility, one is catenation. Okay. Second is incatenation. See, if you are writing the notes, I'll just tell you versatile nature. Okay, versatile nature. First point is catenation. Okay, catenation. What is the value point? Catenation. The value point is, what is the value point? The unique ability or self-linkage. You can just write self-linkage. Okay. Now in this catenation, you have studied about what? Saturated compound, isn't it? So like that you have to make the notes. Saturated compound, then unsaturated compound. Okay, unsaturated compound, then open chain compound or open chain compound. Open chain is straight chain. 2 are there. Okay, open chain compound. In this 2 classification, that is straight chain compound and branch chain compound, isn't it? And again It is a cyclic compound. Cyclic compound means close. So all these four categories will come under the catenation point. See? So this is how you have to prepare your notes. Okay. So that's how. So second is tetravalency. Tetravalency is nothing but 4 valency of carbon. And 4 valency of carbon is also very, very important. If you write, wherever you write carbon, just see it has the valency 4. It's very important. We will study how the compound or the carbon compounds are written. So this is about the versatile nature of carbon. So today we have studied what all? We have studied the allotropes of carbon. Now what is allotrope? Allotrope means same chemical property but different physical property. Different forms. Okay? Different forms of carbon. And then we talked about the versatile nature of carbon. Now we will see something more about saturated compound and unsaturated compound. Okay. Just we will see one today, that is saturated compound. How will you draw the structure of or an electron dot structure of a saturated compound and an unsaturated compound? Okay. Now we will see first saturated compound. And you know what is saturated compound? Saturated compound means having single bond, isn't it? So the first example you will take it as C2H6. What is it? C2H6, which is called as, we will study all this, ethane. Okay. What is CH4? CH4 is methane. Okay. Now C2H6 is ethane. Now today we will see how you will draw or how you will come across with what is the structure of this compound. How you will make the structure of this compound. See, the first step is, you know, 2 carbon atoms are there. First step. So the first step is, since there are 2 carbon atoms, the 2 carbon atoms are joined by a single bond because it is a saturated compound. All are single bonds. Correct? So, this is a single bond. Now you see there are 6 hydrogen atoms. How many hydrogen atoms? 6 hydrogen atoms. So, this is first carbon atom. We will see one by one. First carbon atom. Now what is the valency of, listen very carefully. This is how you are starting to write the structure or draw the structure of carbon compounds. So here you take the first carbon atom. You know what is the valency? 4. 4 valency. So you have to make 4 valency of carbon. One is this valency bond. Other is this. Next is this and next is this. So see, for this carbon atom, for the first carbon atom, how many bonds it made? 4 carbon atoms. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Isn't it? So here 6 hydrogen atom out of which we will satisfy with hydrogen. 1, 2 and 3. Correct? Now again this carbon, second carbon atom. Now how many hydrogen atoms are remaining? 6. 3 is taken. Now next is 3. Look. So now what you want to see is, you have to see for each carbon atom 4 bond is there. Otherwise it will be not correct. Okay. So here 1, 2, 3 and this. This bond is common. Okay. You can choose this as a common. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct. 4 valency. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct. 4 valencies. Absolutely right. So I can write CH3 single bond CH3. Can I write this? I made all the 3 atoms together. So that this is C and H3. Then a bond should be there. You have to show this bond. That is the carbon-carbon bond should be shown. If you ask me why you are not saying this hydrogen, 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 there is a difference. See, this typical representation you call it as, this structure you call it as skeletal structure. Skeletal structure. That means you are showing all the bonds in this skeletal structure. First you will study to draw the skeletal structure, and then this is called as condensed structure. This is not you will study in higher classes, but still condensed. Condensed means what? Condensed. Condensed means what? All the 3 hydrogen atoms you put it as one. that means H3, isn't it? H3, not showing H, that is skeleton. This is H3. Here also H3. See? Okay. So this is called as a condensed formula or structure. This is called as the skeletal structure. So now you know how to draw the structure of ethane. Okay, ethane. So that is C2H6. Okay. One more I will draw for you. Before going with that, we will now draw the electron dot structure. What is it? Electron dot structure. You know the electron dot structure of methane we have drawn. Now we will draw the electron dot structure of ethane, C2H6. Now once you know the structure of ethane, you know what is it? CH3, CH3, isn't it? CH3 single bond CH3. If you know this structure, it is very easy to draw the electron dot structure, isn't it? How? That is, you have to draw two carbon atoms. Now how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct. How many hydrogen? Here 1 hydrogen, here 1 hydrogen, here 1 hydrogen. Then here it is 1 hydrogen, again hydrogen, again hydrogen. Now satisfy hydrogen, 2 duplet for hydrogen, isn't it? Same as methane. Now listen. This you know, hydrogen is 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, that is it. Now what about this carbon atom? Carbon atom is 2, 4, 6, 7 and it is sharing 1 electron from this carbon atom. Isn't it? From the second carbon atom. So it will be, see, it will be like this. Correct? Got it? That means 2, 4, 6, 7 and 8. One is from this carbon atom. The same thing for this carbon atom, 2, 4, 6 and 8. See? So here is the bond, the covalent bond. The covalent bond is between these two. See? Like this. So this is the electron dot structure of ethane, that is C2H6. So hope you understood. Okay, I will give you a homework. That means draw the structure of propane, that is C3. Okay, C3H8, C3H8, that is propane. Just first draw the structure, then electron dot structure also. Just see whether you can draw it. Now what? Just I will say a clue or a hint. 3 carbon atoms. So you have to put 3 carbon atoms. How many hydrogen atoms? 8. Okay. So you put in such a way that the carbon has got a valency of 4. So just do it. Okay. So that's all for today. Next class we will see more about the structures. Okay. Cyclic structure, branch structure, open chain structure, etc. we will see. So for today we will have like this. Read the textbook and draw the diagrams, structural diagrams. Okay, you can be familiar with it. So that's all. Thank you.